live on YouTube. We are the Out of Babylon Collective. We will be discussing some points which are very, very crucial for the black diaspora. Those who taken on the slave ships out into the various different parts of the world. We are here to present this station, this output, to be able to discuss some really sensitive points which are happening across the world and globally right now. We have today with us Lance, and we have Simone, and we are going to be discussing today reparations and repatriation, which is on the tongues and the minds of the diaspora right now due to various situations which are arising. We want to know whether we need to repatriate or do we need reparations. Some say we don't need it. We don't want anything from anyone. We must do it ourselves. Some say we are owed these things. We need to get these things as the black diaspora. These are our inheritance that have been taken from us through the generation of time. So we are going to go into this and we're going to discuss these points. And we want everyone who's listening to be able to give their input. Maybe send us a message on the chat, some discussion points or some questions that you may have for the presenters today, and we will pick them up. So first of all, without ado, we're going to just introduce our guest today, which is Lance. Lance, maybe you want to give us a little introduction to who you are and what you are here to represent today.
Yeah, well, my name's Lance Greaves. You could say plain talking, straight talking, black. And what else do you really need to know? It's something that we all feel, we all can see, we can all understand. We need, as I've heard recently, one voice to generate it right the way through. We've had a few different ones coming along through the years, and with right now, what we have and what we need is to galvanise. And I'm just like part and parcel of the whole system, the heartbeat. It's what I feel, it's what I see, it's what I hear, it's what I understand. It's me. And hopefully we can get through some points today. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Lance. Yeah, Simone, so could you give us a little introduction to yourself? You know, what is it that's inspired you to come on this platform to be able to express yourself about some crucial points with regards to reparations and repatriation?
Well, I just think that it's important to discuss any issues at the moment regarding the black race, ways to move forward, ways to empower ourselves, discussing our diversity, our economic success, our history. Just understanding a bit more about oneself is a brilliant way to start the topic of moving forward and how we can grow stronger as a race. So that's where I am today.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Simone. Yeah, myself, obviously, I'm presenting today, and you know, I'm very passionate about the whole movement that is happening now within the black diasporans across the world, and I think this is a crucial time for us to be able to unite and to be able to express ourselves. Amongst other things, there is an underground movement going on right now where I don't think many people actually recognize that there is a desire and a yearning for repatriation. And I think we may hear a few of those points today with our presenters, and hopefully we will touch on it and it will resonate with the listeners to be able to recognize that we are in a time where it's unprecedented. You know, this is something that is going to go down in history, and we need to be in the right place at the right time. We need to understand what we are to do to move forward as a people. And I think you're going to hear some really, really good points from the presenters today with regards to this. So without much ado, let's get into this. We are hoping to get another guest coming in today, which is Maxi. He's running a little bit late. We also have with us Jael. So Jael, if you want to give a little introduction to yourself as well, please.
Hey, greetings everyone. Shalom, shalom. So my name is Sister Jael. I live in UK right now. I decided to take part in this panel, in this discussion, because I really believe that a lot of our people in the diaspora are wasting a lot of time and energy on some subjects which are not really needed, on repatriation and reparation also. So to me, I come with a fresh mind as a young woman who's lived in the Western world but who comes from West Africa. I come with a fresh mind and a different understanding as well than most of the people who grew up in this country. So for me, it's very important to give my point of view, because I know the difference from my family and what my family put inside of me, but I also understand the difference coming from these countries. France, I grew up in France, so I totally understand, the difference from here to Africa. So that's it, really. That's why I'm here today.
Sorry, is it possible, Joe, to put your camera on, please?
Brilliant. Thank you very much. So, Simone, if you just hold tight, we'll organise and make sure everything's moving smoothly. I don't think anybody's camera is on at the moment and on the live. So we're just trying to work some things in the background here to make that happen. But in the meantime, if we can just get ourselves ready to present, that's going to be really good. And we are going to really go in. I think we had a little rehearsal on this midweek. And again, those who are listening, we are new to this, so please bear with us. We are trying to make this happen as best as possible, and with your support and help, I know we can make it work. So we're going to go first with Brother Lance, and hopefully, brother, you're going to be able to present your case on reparations and repatriation. We're going to give you a 15-minute presentation on some key points that we've addressed, and hopefully you'll be able to express your points, your opinion and your views within that time frame. We don't want to go much over that time frame, so we have 15 minutes to be able to present your case on reparations and repatriations. So anytime you're ready, as soon as you start to speak, we'll start the countdown, and we'll go ahead.
Okay, right. Let's get straight into it. And look, as I said, my name's Lance Grease on reparations and repatriation. As always, I like to say thank you to all those in the background, because a lot of these things, they do take a bit of time, effort, energy to be able to put together and to be able to present the case as well as we can possibly do. And it's not possible without those who are hard at work in the background getting these things together. So straight off the bat, as we're dealing with reparations and repatriation, straightforward, repair the damage. That's what we've got to look at. Looking at reparations repatriation it's not a new idea. It's 400 years. We had so many different people working through the ages trying to deliver freedom, trying to deliver what's due. And you can see through a lot of what has happened in the past, through slaves, through captivity, they have paid their dues to authorities, to governments, to people who have captivated a group of people, which is we are now the last of those who are trying to rebuild, regain, rejoin, and regrow with what we have left, and how we can put that together. Is for us now. It's important for us. The foundations have been laid by so many different people. It's not something that hasn't been done to different groups in the past. We know crucial years, 1945, the rebuilding of the UK, and specifically for the UK, there were so many different other bodies that have intervened and got into the business of slavery and dealing with the wealth, the gain, the greed, and those are the European countries. And so not exclusive to the UK, it's the likes of France, major part players, for the likes of the Dutch, the Germans, so many of them. But I think that the UK plays a crucial role in dissecting, drawing out, a lot of these things, and because of that reason, for us in the UK, we've got a position that can really explode the domino effect around the world. Okay, 45. We had the United Nations Relief and Rehabilitation Administration. It lasted for about 2 years, joined in another group. But within that 2 years, they were able to replace, repatriate, and give reparations to the group Czechoslovakians, Polish, Italians, Irish, so many other different groups. Within that, they were able to reposition displaced people and have acted and have done that in a very quick period of time, very short space of time. You had somewhere in the region of about 8 million people. 7 million of those people were done within 2-3 months. The space of time, if they are keen on, if they desire to, or even if they are forced, can move at a rapid space. Unlike the Windrush, when they arrived in 45, before they stepped foot off the shores, onto the shores, they were on the back foot as British compared to foreign, like a list of the others. They weren't even allowed to come off the ship. I like to see the 492 crew, as I put it, has put things in place for us today. We are now the firstborn generation within the UK, off the back of the Windrush generation, who came from the Caribbean, as you well know, and were able to deal with a lot of those situations, presented with the knock-on effects of slavery, of the mindset of people who would rape, pillage, plunder. There's nothing changed. It's most of those things have been handed down. They've inherited a great deal, and yet for Black people, we still remain in the same position of being disenfranchised, discriminated against, and it's now time. It's now time to be able to move on with that, with all of the repairs. So repairing the damage, the call for damage repair to the Black diaspora and African continent has been long overdue. How it should be implemented, and it will always be the $1 trillion question. First and foremost, you've got to assess that damage. What has happened? What is the problem? An assessment of the damage will reveal a wide range of things, but most importantly, the mindset of both perpetrator and victim. The mindset, what's going on in their heads, what's going on in their minds. You as an individual just cannot fathom to be able to put a fellow human being in that position, the middle passage, enslavement, and that on an unprecedented scale, unknown to any other group of people. It's created all sorts of damage, psychological damage. It's brainwashing that has been handed down. Again, back to the Windrush generation. Most of those people arriving here in the UK were on the understanding that they were going to the mother country. Unknown to them, the mother country wasn't accepting of them. So it's a question of repairing psychological damage, fixing the lies told in history, and perpetrated in schools and detrimental for the growth of our community. It's important that we get these things right, not only just from the humanitarian aspect, it's also from the material. Although looking at reparations, it's not necessarily always financial. It's a question of giving autonomy to us as individuals. And that creates a whole host of different problems. I say problems, it gives us the ability to move and live and do things for ourselves. Sky's the limit when you're in control of your own ability to deal with those kind of things. Look, when you're in a system, everything is there to build. You've got to look out for your own people, have control of from financial, looking at the systems that we had in place before, bartering systems. Look, we're in a position now that we're going to have to deal with modern day technology, modern day living. And most certainly, if you were to ask the question of any Black individual, would you pack up and go to another place that's built and set, that you can have your own autonomy and dealing from every level of life? You will get most people not really understanding or really wanting to, because they're so set and settled in their ways within the countries that they are. And we're right across the world. And you can see from most of what's happened through the George Floyd incident, that they are shown protests from France, from England, from America, from all right across it. And it's a question of uniting a lot of those things with what we've got. So, a question of human assessment, material assessment, looking at what has happened through the years with the scrammer, where most of the Europeans have dissected for that whole third of those resources in Europe. Joint effort between most of the European countries that have got in and dealt with and taken most of the wealth out of that country, and it's even still to this day a systematic draining of the society. For us, where would you want to be? What would you want? Would you want to remain in the UK, or would you want to have your own continent, your own place, your own self-governing, doing things out of a system that is oppressive, a system that is systematically set against you? You know, with a lot of the problems that we face in terms of emancipation, favourite artist, Bob Marley, has captivated that in its best form. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. Some say it's just a part of it we've got to fulfill. You know the lyrics of Bob Marley, but such an impressionable. Lots of people have contemplated on the depth of what he says, to be able to live in a life that is acceptable, to be able to do what we can do by freeing our own minds. But it's not only from our minds, it's physical too. With glass ceilings, with all of the stereotypes that face us today. So it's a question of freeing ourselves, which we always know, and freeing ourselves has been from the past too. We've had people like Abraham Lincoln, Wilbur Wilberforce, Equino, who have dealt with a lot of those issues. To a large degree, it still has not been delivered, and it still needs to be addressed, which is why we need reparations and repatriation. Reparations in terms of building our own state, our own place, our own governing systems, because the system just hasn't been there for us. It hasn't delivered for us. And we need to be able to get back to a place where we are comfortable and able to live just like anyone else. How do we do that? Obviously, there's a whole cases of law that deals with this kind of situation. And we will have to galvanize ourselves with the law and lawyers and be able to deal with a lot of those things to help us to grow. To me, there is no question. It is better to be in a place where we can live our lives to its full potential. Mostly, that's how I see the whole thing in terms of reparations and repatriation. But most certainly, what is necessary and what is needed is unity. Unity amongst ourselves to be able to press the issue forward. Unity for us to be able to deliver what we have suffered through the years. It's important that we understand each other with so many different philosophies and minds of the different things, but yet still we make a people. And just because of the differences, it doesn't mean that we cannot be galvanized and understand each other and be able to be empathetic to the needs that we have that will build us as a people. So again, reparations, repatriation, it's not something new. We've seen Abraham Lincoln and Wilbur Wilberforce, who 1807, the abolition of slavery from the UK, at least anyway, was able to put in place authorities to intercept from the continent any further actions of taking of slaves and replace them into Freetown, the long history of Freetown, as we well know. It's something that has not gone quite to how it should do, but that is something that has started. It's not something new that they haven't done, but it's not been finished. How would you feel?
Okay, we are 15 minutes now. You've gone past your 15-minute slot. Sorry about that. We missed that. It was getting into it so well there, Lance, that we missed the time. But yeah, you are 15 minutes is up. You'll get the chance to continue. What we'll do for now is if we can go on to the next presenter, and then we can come back to you. So our next presenter will be Simone. And she will give her 15 minutes. It doesn't have to be 15 minutes, but, if we can get close to that, that would be brilliant. But the next presenter will be Simone. She will be talking about reparations and repatriations. Over to you, Simone.
Hi, family. I thank you, Lance, for that detailed introduction to our topic today. And yeah, I just want to reiterate thanks to everyone behind the scenes for just helping us to address these two topics. So just thanks for that. What I really wanted to bring to the table was what have we done so far? So in terms of repatriation, we have had various, in small numbers, in minority numbers, people return back to Africa, but not in the great waves that we would like to see. The most recent positive wave was of course, the year of return to Ghana, which has been fantastic. There's actually been people recently who have actually got their passports, so their Ghanaian passports. So they took the matter very seriously in terms of repatriation and making sure that those US citizens felt connected back to the African continent from whence their ancestors were stolen from. So I feel that's been a very positive move. We've also had financial benefits. So US and UK government have provided Africa with funding as a form of reparation. And the funding has been to help support the economy so that there is autonomy within the economy that provides a socio-economic structure which makes Africa independent as opposed to being dependent on these foreign bodies. So, for example, they've put a lot of investments into things like lots of investments into youth, sustainability, sustainable living, etc., etc. However, the slight downside to that is that because the funding is coming through, which of course, arguably Africa deserves, but then it can form a little bit of codependency. So it's a bit of a tricky one because we do need the finances back in some way, but how is that delivered in a positive way where Africa can just step back, take their foot off the pedal and say, we're good to go. I think what I'd like to see is I'd like Africa to close its borders and see, with all their beautiful, wonderful resources, how far they can get as a nation internally by themselves without having to rely on the foreign aid in the form of reparations. So that's one thing I'm interested in, to see if that's even a possibility. I also have looked into things like how France has had so many African and Haiti, so some French-speaking Caribbean islands, repaying them for what they deem as lost goods, lost commodities, which were the slaves. That is something that unfortunately is still going on. We know in Britain that we are still repaying the slave masters for their loss of their goods, which were human life, Black people who were taken from Africa. And so it's a very important topic. It's a very important topic to discuss, but it's a very important topic to address and see where we want to go as a nation. Like, how do we move away from just the conversations? How do we move into actual physicalities of, making changes and making amends? I like how Lance spoke about the autonomy of all nations, that, France, Portugal, Spain, the United States, etc. Whoever was involved in slavery, it would be good if there was some sort of acknowledgement, full apology and action plan, not just talking the talk. But it would be great to see the walking of the walk in terms of making sure that the Black nations feel, I think the word is earnestly, it's good and well saying sorry, isn't it? But do you mean it? And how do you mean it? Sometimes, you have to put your money where your mouth is. Sometimes you have to just step up to the plate. And what I'm not seeing enough of are these nations stepping up to the plate and actually delivering something that's consistent, concise, and there's a lack of accountability. And I would like to see full accountability for what happened those 400 years ago that is still happening today. You know, we have the George Floyds of the world that are still happening now. Like George Floyd was, you know, 3 or 4 months ago, but there are numerous other cases very, very similar to George Floyd's after that date. So we have to have some form of accountability as we as a nation, I'm talking about Black people, need to be able to put some sort of pressure and say to these nations that took us, you are accountable, you did this is now what you're still doing to us, and it needs to stop now, like right now, and we deserve either to go home. In America, they had initially proposed that they would give £1 million to people who wanted to return home. And then the other facet to that was that they would also, if you didn't want to return home, it would be 50 years of tax-free income. So you'd work and you wouldn't be taxed. So that sounds quite good. Free healthcare, because of course they have to pay over there, and free education. So I'm assuming that's after tertiary education. So we go into higher education. So 50 years, but the Black person would have to prove that they were a product of slavery. So a bit dubious, a bit like how we're having to prove over here that we are, our family are from the Windrush, same concept. So things like that, like where's the autonomy when you're just making everything difficult for everyone to, you're saying in one hand, this is what we'd like to do, but in the other hand, you're taking away. So there needs to be an agency that is enforcing accountability. At the end of the day, what happened to Africa, the raping of that nation, and everybody standing by and watching, and they're still doing today, is something that I feel as a community we must address. I think it's just something, it's a big elephant in the room. It's not a very nice elephant, but something we definitely need to unite on and address. All right, that's it from me for now. Hello. Hi, Lance.
Hello. Good, very good.
Did you have any questions for me?
I think I was seeing that the connection keeps on dropping out.
Yeah.
So not from you. It went through.
Yeah.
So I suspect that's what's happened with the administrator.
That's okay. Well, we're struggling with Zoom. I'm sure everyone can acknowledge.
But that's fine.
At home having Zoom meetings. So.
Yeah, and again, you see, like what you're saying there, it's what's on every Black person's mind.
Yes.
And the thing is, it's how do we push those issues forward? Yeah. And bearing in mind that we are where we are, whether that's France, Germany, whether that's Italy, whether that's England, which is where we are. You have been in a system where you're having to cope with what's been left to you, what you have inherited, and with all the best will in the world, if you have a system that is pretty much suffocating, the end result is what it will be. Not only are they physically like the George Floyd, but theoretically, they're crippling you, suffocating you until every inch of your existence. It's good what you're saying about the tax-free. I've never really looked along that kind of line. Yeah. Again, but that's in the mind of people that want to remain. And what some people do, though, don't they? Like, yes, remember when we had our initial conversation? I think that's what's tricky. I've been having external conversations after our conversation, and I put that question to them. Would you want to remain, or would you like to take the £1 million and leave? And I think the question that keeps coming back is, there is quite an uncertainty about how stable Africa is in terms of acknowledging itself as a powerful nation.
So there's a little bit of hesitancy I noticed. I thought everyone would be like, I'm going to take the £1 million and run. And actually, the conversation came back a bit like, well, you know, obviously we know Africa is empowered, but there are still aspects of it where the West is still dictating what happens. You know, there's still planes just swooping into, you know, taking out all the minerals, just swooping in and do what they want.
Yeah.
So how autonomous is Africa as a nation? Are we going to move from one fire into the frying pan? These were some of the questions, Lance.
Yeah, and you see, that's a lot of the things is that we're unaware of what's going on in Africa. You know, we're not presented with the news and the intricate details of the building blocks of Africa, the wealth, how we can best fit in, how we can best deal with. You see, if there's something good, right, for the mindset of someone like perpetrators that have dealt with what they've done, they are not going to want you to have that.
Yeah, exactly.
They will tell you mud huts, poor sanitary, incapable, all of the negatives. But for you in the diaspora, you'll be thinking, oh my, there's absolutely no way. I'm living a comfortable life. You know, I have attachments. I've built myself a life around what I'm dealing with, what I have now. And to go to somewhere that I do not know is always going to be a hard question.
Yeah.
It's always a hard position as well, because you will need to then transport yourself in the mind of your ancestors that you don't really understand the full impact, because can you imagine, even begin to think what that Middle Passage was like?
No, I was going to say that to you, that when you was mentioning the Middle Passage, the trauma of it.
Yeah.
Can you just imagine?
Yeah, and if that's the negative images on top of the mud huts, on top of the starving people that is forced on you through the media, through a country that doesn't necessarily want to let go the wealth of what
Yeah, because why would you? What benefit does it benefit the West, Nance, to let go of the wealth? So that's the question. It doesn't benefit them at all. It doesn't benefit them for repatriation.
So for
reparations, it doesn't benefit them.
Yeah, for that reason, we need to be informed for ourselves, know the benefits, understand what that is. Kwame Nkrumah, a key figure, came to be educated in England, left from England and was educated in America, left from America under the Garveyite philosophies. It began the first port of call that he ever dealt with was education. Strong nation.
Brilliant.
Strong nation.
Guys, can I just cut you in there? That really good discussion, and I think we're gonna pick up on that point. We're gonna let Jael give her presentation.
Hi, I think there's still.
Yeah, and then we'll cut back into some questions. We've got lots of questions coming up on the YouTube live, and people are asking lots of questions based on what you've currently discussed. So we're gonna go back and pick those points up. So if we give Jael her time to present, then we'll drop back in and we'll ask the questions afterwards. So Jael, if you want to give your presentation now.
Hey, shalom, shalom, everyone. I pray everybody is well. So I'm back again. So remember to share the video, please. Share the video, share the live right now so we can actually start to build on the chat room. I can see some comments coming from some of my sis friends. I can see some comments from Here I Am Ready or Not, which are very interesting, and I would love to reply to that. Here I am, big up. Hey, Mama Levi, big up. So let me just give you my little introduction. So my way of thinking might be a bit different to other people because I have, how can I say that? I come from a different way. My father is from West Africa, especially Ivory Coast. So the same people who put us in this slavery are still the same people who are living in my country right now and abusing of my country right now. So when I hear about reparation and repatriation, what most of the people think is financial. But to me, no, there is no price that can pay back what they did to us. It's not possible. It's not possible. We're all living into this PTSD right now, which is post-traumatic slavery disorder. We're all having it, being children of the transatlantic slave trade or being born in West Africa or even in France as me. We're all suffering from this. And nobody can put no price on that. I refuse to take the money of the white men to go and excuse for what they did to us. So when I hear a lot of people asking for reparation, which is financial, to me it doesn't make sense. It really doesn't make sense at all. I would like the people to think again about what wealth is. And to me, wealth will never be measured by dollars or pounds or euros. That's not what wealth is. I really like the comment of one of our brothers here. I think you're a brother here, I am ready or not. And the person here was commenting, what do you think about a single currency for Africa based on a Central African bank independent of France and the rest of Europe? And this is not a new thought, because we heard Gaddafi talking about this. So what's happening is that we have something very, very important in Africa. We have gold. And that's a currency that we had before the white men came and put the pound and the fake money there. That's something that we need to start again. So let me start from the beginning. To me, I will start by the first point. I'm not asking nobody for reparation. I'm not asking for nobody for repatriation. I don't wait for the white man to tell me what to do. And this will be for the health system, because I know that the health system is toxic and polluted. It will be for the way that I think and the way that I educate my people also. I don't agree with that. We know that there is a lot of internal issue in Africa. We know that most of the politicians, unfortunately, are already sold out. But this is also because countries such as France, Belgium, and Great Britain tried their best to break each country independently. And what we are missing in Africa is the unity. We don't have no unity in Africa. If you can imagine, with the wealth that we have from East Africa to West Africa, from South Africa and the diamond to North Africa, if we manage to have a borderless economic alliance in this continent, the whole world... Sorry about that. Excuse me, somebody wasn't muted. If we manage to have a borderless economic alliance, the whole world will depend on us, because we have everything. We have everything. Even us people right now, we are the one with melanin. If it wasn't for black people, even around the world, they wouldn't have nothing. They wouldn't have electricity. They wouldn't have lamps. They wouldn't have light bulb. They wouldn't have nothing around the world. So they depend on us. So I'm not the one who go and ask to the people, I want repatriation. I'm not asking for no money from them. I understand that the money, the wealth, is coming from what we have back home. And without this, there's countries such as France, America, Great Britain, Italy, Belgium, all of them people can't stand. They can't stand without us. That's what we need to remember. So it's all about unity. The bad thing is that every time that an African country tried to push the African Union, the Western countries stepped in and tried to break that. And it happened many times. I'm from the Ivory Coast. So one of our presidents in 2001, if I can remember, his name is Laurent Gbagbo. He spoke about the African Union. As soon as he started to speak about it, what the French president did, Sarkozy back in the days, he created a civil war. And he placed a new president called Alassane Ouattara as presidency, instead of our president, Laurent Gbagbo. Listen to that. This was in 2001. Nobody voted for this man. In my whole country, in Ivory Coast, nobody voted for him. Who decided this? The French country decided this. And they placed a new president in my own country, although we had independence since 1950s in Ivory Coast. But they still have a very, very strong political and economical power. And we know that every country who are led by the France CFA are still giving 60% of the yearly income to the French country. Yo, why will I go and ask them to help me? It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me. And there is something else as well. I am a spiritual person. I give all thanks and praises to the Most High always. And the Most High is actually following my ways. That's what I always say. So politics, I don't run with that. I'm not with this at all. I don't agree with politics at all. What I believe is that the Most High will show us which way to go. But for this, we need to be very mindful and we need to be very careful on the grid. I am the one who's going to damage my shoes walking from Brixton to London Eye to go in front of the parliament to ask for reparation when I am the one who bought the same shoes. I'm not walking there. What's the point? Why will I go and ask them people who put me in this predicament for reparation? I know they aren't going to give me nothing. They're not going to do it. Matter of fact, what they're doing right now is that they're trying to test our youngsters for COVID-19. That's what they're trying to do. Why will I go and trust them? What's the point? Until this day, that's how they're treating us. Until this day, why would you want me to go and ask them for anything? The only person I will ask for is the Most High. And when I read my scriptures, I understand that the Most High is all about husbandry. The Most High understand and made us, his people, his chosen people, Israel. He made us understand that nothing is happening through greed or money. It's all about the wealth, the real wealth. How much are you willing to give to your people? And then you will receive. I'm giving to my people, and I know that that's the way that I will get back home as well. There is a lot of things, unfortunately, that happened, and a lot of people, especially in UK, has been talking about reparation and repatriation for a long time. And I have a lot of respect for Nyabingi people, Rastafari. I have a lot of respect for these people because I know a lot of community who are now in Ghana, who are now in Zimbabwe, who are now in Tanzania, and they did it. As I have a lot of respect for the community in Daimona, Israelite community, who are rocking it there. That's it, they're done. They have their land, they're growing their food and everything. But most of them, the ones who are in Africa, it might be 10% of the people who were here in the 60s, 70s. The rest of them are still here in UK talking about going back home. Let me tell you something. Most of them people are from Caribbean and West Africa. None of them have been back since their parents didn't bring them back. So to me, if I want to find inspiration from you, you better walk the walk and talk the talk. There is no need for me as a young woman to go and be inspired from you if you're not doing nothing. You haven't been to Africa. What are you even talking for? What's the point? You are enjoying your benefit in a white man country under your council tax, under your council flat, and you're not even doing nothing from your people. So that's the thing. We need to be careful as well who we're getting the inspiration from, because most of these people, they are taken in the shit stem, and that's what's happening. They lost the focus and they are being distracted. That's what's happening. So again, I am not demanding to no one. I'm not demanding anything. I am doing it. I don't need to demand nothing. I went back home and I'm still going to keep doing it, and I'm going to keep empowering my people this way. Where am I going? I was thinking as well about the year of return as Ghana did. Which is a great thing. I don't know about you, brothers and sisters, if you actually check the year of return that Ghana did, but it's not as easy as saying, I'm going back to Ghana. It's much more complicated. It's like, all right, I need to do this. I need to do this paperwork. I'm going back to Ghana. Then I need to go and reapply. And then I need to go and reapply. And then I need to do this and that. I need to prove this and that. So it's not as easy, unfortunately. And it will go back to the same subject. We need to be careful and we need to learn from our mistakes in the past. Many African countries tried to be independent from Belgium, from France, from Italy, from Great Britain, and it never worked because they were only fighting one against this big empire, and we know who this empire are anyway. So when we hear about the year of return, I would have really, really enjoyed if most of the country in Africa would have followed what Ghana did. That would have been a different move. Now imagine if one country out of all the countries in Africa is doing that. Now imagine if at least 20 countries in Africa would have done that and welcome us back. Imagine how helpful this would have been. I've heard right now, just today actually, praise the Most High, one of my sisters went back to, one of my sisters is going to Tanzania. She's just moving to Tanzania from America to Tanzania. And she's moving there. Why? Because Tanzania is the only country who opened their border again. That's the only reason why she's going there. most of the people, the plan was to be in Ghana. A lot of our people wanted to go to Ghana, but Ghana is still not welcoming. Ghana is still not welcoming some foreigners. But it's all about uniting. We need to unite, and we need to stop asking the white man for anything, because we don't need to ask him anything. So that's me. That's me, everyone. I'm just gonna reply to some of the comments. Yes, Mama Levi, I agree with you. They killed Gaddafi because the man had a very, very strong sword. The man understood economy, and he understood that if we deal with gold, that's what the other countries don't have. So that's how we're gonna raise our economy. Without them, we're not waiting for them to actually go and build our economy. Actually, there is a fact as well that I wanted to share, which is a country in West Africa, Guinea-Conakry, who was so Guinea-Conakry had their independence from France. And as soon as they became independent, France was telling them, look, you owe us some slave taxes. So what we can do, we can give you this money called franc CFA that you will never be able to use all around the world. You can't do that, you can't use it. But from this money, we're going to get 60% of your income. Guinea-Conakry, they refused this money. They said, you know what, France, thank you very much. We don't want your money. We're going to create our own money. At this time, the president in France was Mr. General de Gaulle, who is the same person who supposedly ended Second World War, which is none of our business anyway. That's the white man's war. This is not our war. But they were in big trouble, right? So General de Gaulle, being upset because of Guinea-Conakry, and he wanted to show a big example to West Africa, what he did is that he started to print some money, the new money that Guinea-Conakry did. So he played with the Ghanaian economy system. And in less than 6 months, they lost all their economy. And they had to go back to France and beg them to get the franc CFA. Until this day, my brothers and sisters are in Guinea-Conakry paying 60% of the tax to France because General de Gaulle did that to the French, to their country.
And there's a lot of those types of things that happen. There's a big difference between the different kind of European countries like Britain and France, Germany, and so on, Italy, that have had their hand in the African continent. There's a difference in terms of you may not want to ask for financial or even physical. You may not want anything from them, but they are still insisting that you pay. Haiti, a prime example. You had Henri, the revolutionist that defeated the major French battalion. And within years later, they came back and insisted that they gained their losses. This is France onto a slave an island that they so-called built, and they wanted their property. They insist that they get it from a people who are saying, I don't want nothing from you.
Yeah, but the issue here, my dear brother, the issue here is that we, African countries, are not united. And that's what happened with Guinea-Conakry. The president of Guinea-Conakry warned the other West African country, and he told them, my brothers and sisters, let's unite, let's refuse this money. But everybody was afraid. They didn't accept it. And he went there by himself. And the thing is that the same thing happened for Britain. In what happened to Nigeria? There is a big company that everybody knows. If you look anywhere in your house, you will see a product called Unilever. Unilever was created on the back of Nigerian people, on slavery, on abuse of Nigerian people. And that's coming from Great Britain. It's the same thing is happening.
What has that got to... So what the question that I'm asking is that exactly what we're talking about Haiti. So do you know that Haiti is paying back what is the equivalent of £1 trillion? Then that's what they've been paying since France and came down, and with their big guns like a gang, they had their revolution, they won the revolution, Then they came with their warships all surrounding Haiti and fire on them and said, if you don't agree to pay us the equivalent of £1 trillion in reparations for loss of product, which is slave human life, of course we are not seen as humans, but that's what it is, then we are going to attack you. So what do you say regarding that matter? Yes, it's not about money.
Hear?
However,
no. Did you hear? Did you hear what I was telling you about? Did you hear what I was telling you about the France CFA? Because before Haiti, this already happened in West Africa. This is exactly what I was talking about in Guinea-Conakry. So the 1 trillion, this is one money. Remember that France is taking 60% of the yearly income to more than 20 African countries. These countries are the countries who have cobalt, gold, cocoa, and banana. And these four things are the things that the most of the world use on a daily basis. Without cobalt, we wouldn't be able to use the phone. Without cocoa, you can't. Without banana, you can't do nothing. And this has been going since 1950s. So I hear what you're saying about Haiti, and I know the story damn well. I know it. While they did that as well, which is very scriptural, they also sterilized our sisters there. That's what they did. They went there and sterilized our sisters. So I know about the story.
You could collect quite a large number of different issues. You could, and what the difference? There's a difference between how the UK deals with it, the UK along with America and all of those, and their colonies, compared to the way how France has dealt with it. And what we have to remember here is the propaganda that's fed to us about those things will put you in a negative. You need to be positive. We need to be involved with African politics to understand what's going on. You can't just parachute yourself out.
Sorry, what do you mean by being involved in African politics when they themselves are having massive discrepancies regarding their own politics?
When I say politics, I'm talking about dealing with people, dealing with amenities.
No,
civic
too long,
life.
too long, my brother, too long, my brother, too long, my brother, too long. This is Rastafari chat from 1960s. Politics is not leading us nowhere. Too long, my brother, too long, too long.
I mean, and this is what I was saying.
It's not getting you nowhere, my brother.
You will find various different approaches to this whole thing.
Yeah.
You've got to find the middle ground. You will have extremists on both sides. You have got to galvanize a people across the world. If you and we can see what's happening. Look at the domino effect that we've had from George Floyd, right? You can guarantee that you ask any one of those individuals in America, in France, in all sorts of different other places, what they know about Africa. They will tell you absolutely jack. They know nothing. And you need to make sure that they are understanding what's going on. Without that, you'll get them treated the way that they are now. You'll get them displaced the way that they are now. You need to galvanize it, and you can't have extremist views.
We're going to hear very well on my earphones.
Sorry, host, you might need to mute our mics, please, host. Any chance? No? Anthony Moore, welcome. Hello. Can you hear me? Anthony?
Hello.
Hi. I was saying we might need to mute your mic because we could hear you shuffling. Hi, welcome.
Hi. How is what's happening?
Nice for you to join us.
Okay. What's happening? Evening.
Good evening.
These days, I don't know.
Yeah, that's it. We don't even know who these people is, you know. Some people came and hijacked the thing, you know. Yo. Let me just come back to this, cause listen, George Floyd. I don't know George Floyd. I've been mourning my people from long before George Floyd. I don't run
agree.
with no Black Lives Matter, LGBTQ. I'm not interested about this George Floyd thing. We need to remember that. It's not this, what's happening during the George Floyd thing has nothing to do with black people waking up. We've been awake for a long time. We've been awake for a long time. Now people are actually understanding what the book of Revelation means. What the book of Jeremiah mean. All them plagues are coming on our people. Look at that. We have COVID-19 coming to our people. After that, they come and kill our people in the street for free once again. This has nothing to do with George Floyd. We've been awake for a long time. Now, the Most High is calling his people again, and the ones who are ready to move are moving. It's not about extremists, my brother. I'm sorry, Lance. It's not about being extremist. It's about being true. It's either you walk the walk and talk the talk, or you not do it. And that's what Rastafari have been doing from a long time. They've been stuck here in 1960s, since 1960s.
You'll be going to join a set of people that already has a system in place.
My system is Torah. My system is Torah. I'm gonna join that. That's for sure. Praise the Most High. I'm gonna join that. That's the only thing I'm gonna join.
You're gonna take your philosophies, your ideas into a system that already exists.
Are you asking me? Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay, super. So the difference here is that there is politics and there is Africa. If you go to most of the villages, like I come from a village in West Africa, in Ivory Coast, called Chenengboué. There is no politics. We don't care about politics. Matter of fact, if you go to my village and you rape a woman, you're gonna be stoned and killed, and nobody's gonna learn about politics. That. That's what it is.
That's politics.
No, that's not politics. This is scriptural. That's scriptural. That's scriptural because politics of Ivory Coast coming from France will put this person in jail. We don't run with jail. We don't do that. We have our own system.
Elders.
Yeah.
You've got elders. You've got chiefs.
Biblical.
You've got all of those.
Biblical.
It's just a different name to a councillor, to an MP. They're all pretty much, it's still politics.
My brother, I don't fire upon politics. I don't follow politics. Do you understand that? I don't follow politics. I follow the Bible. That's what I'm telling you. You might call it politics, but before the white man gave you this name, which come from Greek, politics, we called it scriptural. And that's the first system that we had from day one, from the days of days, ancient days. We are the first people, the original people. We never had politics. We had the Most High guidance. That's what we had.
Semantics, really. Yeah. I mean, you're still dealing with
proper
people.
Semitic, yeah, but it's not politics. It doesn't come from politics.
Okay, so let's get back into the question. What people want to know, they're not interested in our minor opinions. What they're interested in is a global generic opinion on how can we move forward in terms of reparations and repatriation. So can I just ask you both, what do you think would be some practical things that we could do, like within the next, if we had a year to 5 year plan?
People, let's have a look at the comments. I think the comments are very interesting, actually. Did you have a look at the comments,
JL,
Simon?
did you just hear what I said?
Yeah, I heard you, definitely. Did you have a look at the comments?
Sorry?
Did you have a look at what the people want to hear, actually? That's what the people really want to hear.
No, I haven't got access, so it would be helpful if you could read those out.
Yeah, all right. So let me go over a few comments.
Thank you, JL.
No problem. So we have a comment from Sister Naledi asking, how do Western powers gain control over African leaders? What do you think about that?
Did you say how do
Western powers gain control over African leaders?
Money. Simple. It's money. Sorry. Very, very simple. We unfortunately, some of our African leaders are human and suffer with that very, very human thing of the green-eyed monster called greed. Simple as that. And they can be bought. And it's an unfortunate thing because they have the riches and the wealth. But unfortunately, for some reason, what we can see, the beauty of Africa, the power of Africa, the dynamic enormity of the country, the leaders miss that point when the power hits. It happens in all societies. You get to the point of power and you lose the plot at the end of the day. They've lost the plot, they're up there, and then they lose the plot, and they just think about themselves and what they can gain. And I'm not sure, as I said, for me, I just think it's a human flaw. I've seen it happen in France, I've seen it happen in England, I've seen it happen in the UK, and in the USA. So I don't think that's, I think that's a universal truth about, unfortunately, about some politicians within politics.
That's people.
That's my feeling on the matter.
That's human. That's people.
Yeah, Lance, anything?
Yeah, I was just saying that I agree with you. It's human. You're dealing with people. You got good people, you got bad people. No matter where you go in this world, and I'm in agreement with you. It's just that you're going to get some people, but you need to still move this whole thing forward because too many people are suffering. Too many people. Yeah,
we can't. There's no point thinking about the politicians. Politicians are corrupt, fine, but there are many other African people in high society, diplomats or people who are trying to move the countries forward behind the wheels who are interested in unity. Those are just politics is a very small portion of any society. So the lawmakers, if you look at the lawmakers in African societies, they are interested in unification, on independence, on of being dynamic on their own. If you look at, like JL was speaking about, like you know, when that politician went to make his own money and he knew the power of using gold and you know, making sure that his country was independent financially, and then they killed him, or, you know, they vilified him, turned him into a terrorist. So, yeah. JL, anything to add? Any other questions?
Yes. I mean, I totally agree with you both. You know, I think that it's still the same thing. It's lack of unity in Africa. And the thing is that I always say, when you give the power to one individual who has been living in dirt for all his life, he's going to abuse of this power. He's going to abuse of it because he's actually going to enjoy it. And that's what they do to a lot of our president. Again, I'm taking the example. I speak on things that I know of because my people are actually suffering for it now. Alassane Ouattara wasn't a man with a lot of power before. He was just behind the white man all his life. Now he got the power from Laurent Gbagbo. The first thing that he did was behave like an idiot for his country. So as soon as you give the power to somebody who was powerless, what they will do is that they will actually abuse of it, and they will be very greedy. That's some of the sin and of the quality that the Bible warns us. We can't be greedy. We need to be giving to each other. We need to be loving and affectionate.
Look at Trump, JL.
Yeah, well, he's. I don't even talk about this man. The man is crazy, you know. Come on, see, man. I can't compare. You know, them people. Yeah, exactly. You know, Trump was. Yeah. I mean, Trump was dealing with petrol, isn't it? He was dealing with petrol before, no?
Yeah. Yes, he was.
So he was a businessman. Now the man wants to be in politics. Well, first of all, this doesn't go together. You know, it doesn't go. And I wouldn't even take the example. I would never judge or take the example from people that I don't understand, because I don't understand them ways, them white people. I don't understand them ways at all. So I will take the ways of my people. And even myself, I've been living in a ghetto for most of my life. So when I started to be better for myself and earn a bit more money, I had this temptation of becoming greedy. I had this temptation of saying, well, I made it, so why don't you, and this and that. But I had to calm myself down. I had to humble myself. And the only way to do it was to think about other people before me. So I will always be giving. But our black president don't have this no more. They don't.
Yeah, you know, like for me, you are dealing with so many different people, so many different mindsets, but most certainly you're dealing with people, our people. They don't all think the same. You know, I've had times to think about the opening statement of Mandela and the closing statement of Mandela. I believe in freedom and democracy.
Amen.
It's an ideal that I hope to live by. However, it's an ideal by which I am prepared to die.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he said before he went in. That's what he said when he came out. You see? And you're dealing with so many different people and different mindsets and different philosophy, but they are people. You care about your people. You want your good for your people. You don't dismiss them. You know, you have to cater for their needs, whatever their needs. For our system, not an abusive system, not a system that has treated us and gotten us to the place that we are now. There's so many different philosophies. Teach them the ideals. People are people that still have choices. And deal with them, you must. No matter how you want to term it, you still have to deal with them. They're still your brothers. They're still your sisters. They're still people that have to galvanize a system that works for us for better. That's just how I see it.
Okay, guys, really good topic, really good discussion. I'm going to throw a little question in there just to stir it up a little bit. And I know at the moment there is a big movement where people are asking the question, due to the COVID-19, should we, as the diaspora, be making that move out of Babylon into the motherland? And it's a question I'm going to ask to each of our panel here today. Should we be making that move? I know that there is a lot of people asking these questions in their home. Mm-hmm. Should we be making that move?
I'm going to kick it off then. I think that we 100%, that's an easy question for me, 100% should be making the move. For me, this country, the West, is never going to be give us reparations or supportive of repatriation. It doesn't benefit them, okay? So to lose our skills, lose our knowledge, lose our power, it doesn't benefit them in any way. So they're going to keep saying they're there, put a little plaster on it. Yeah, we're interested. We're going to help. I'm not interested. I'm not looking. I'm a bit like JL on this subject. I'm not looking at them to support me with anything, okay? Power starts in your own home, okay? Get your own house right, yeah? It's not about looking at the Joneses' house and saying my house should be like this. Get your own house right. For me, if I'm going to find empowerment for myself, I need to go where I came from, go from the root of the tree, okay? That's the biblical principle. Go to the root, look for the fruit. If I look for the root and the fruit in England, that's where I'm living and born and raised, the fruit is rotten, okay, to the core. There is no good in it. I've searched from the east, as far as to the east to the west. I can't see nothing good here for me. As a British-born young person, I cannot see any good here. So for me, I've explored those avenues. There's a lot of talk, as we've discussed, but nothing concrete. No, you know what, the odd statue. How is the statue helping me? Beg you tell me, someone, please. The statues are not helping me, okay? Right? Unless you're going to give me my 40 acres and a mule, then maybe we can talk. If you gave me my 40 acres and a mule in England, I'm not interested in that either. As I said, it doesn't benefit them, okay? What I'm interested in is us Black people awaking together and unifying and loving ourselves. Love ourselves as we are, where we are, warts and all. Yes, we are traumatized as a Caribbean descendant. I'm completely traumatized. But I acknowledge that there are people in Africa who are just as traumatized as I am, because people are coming over there and raping their country, have been for years, over 400 years, way before slavery, there was that going on. So, yeah, I do think it's important to return. But I do think we've got to do it with wisdom, a bit like what we were just talking about, the question from that lady. Sorry, I didn't catch the name because the connection wasn't great. But the politics in Africa is questionable. So I have that also in the back of my head, that I have to be mindful that I have to be awoke. But for me, it goes back to biblical principles of, if I'm reading the Bible, I've got to read it with discernment. Look at the Old Testament, look at the New Testament, look at the Hebraic form, understand it in every single text. I'm not just going to take something at face value. I've got to go and educate myself and find out for myself where the positivity, the strength of that character lies. And I think if anyone did their research on any just choose any African nation, you'll see so much strength and positivity and power. The lies that you hear in the West is just that. It is lies. The lies are just, wow. You know, the mud huts. And today somebody posted a video, I think it was a TikTok, it was brilliant. And she said, oh, these are the mud huts of Tanzania. Right, and it's like these beautiful houses. Oh no, these are the mud huts of Nigeria, and it's these massive houses. And these are the tuk-tuks, or, you know, the mash-up cars. And it was like all these. I'm not very good with cars, but I think they were like posh cars. And then she said, and she was Caribbean, and she said she'd been to about 20 African nations, and then she'd shown in England. This is a house in England. You want to see the squalor of the houses. These are this is where they want you to go to school. You want to see like all the graffiti. And I'm thinking, yeah, that's more my reality of living here. And she's saying, you know, in England, you're living on the benefit system and you're sitting there, want to look down your nose at Africa. But, you know, we are a benefit state, okay? So you need to educate yourself and go for yourself. That's my answer. Go to Africa yourself. I've been to Kenya, I've been to Tanzania, and I've been to Zanzibar. I was blown away at the enormity of how much financial profitability they have. It's not about finances. I'm saying that they are way more advanced than we are in the UK. I was like, what the hell? Imagine if I didn't go, I wouldn't have known that. So I would say to everyone, go. Before you ask yourself that question, go first. Don't be just listening to what's on the TV. Don't be just looking at, you know, the lies of the news. Go for yourself. Establish for yourself what Africa really is. Then make a decision. You know, and for me, it will be to return. I have no doubt about that. You know, I need to see black people on the telly. I need to see a black prime minister. I need to see a black police officer. I need to see a black lawyer. I need my daughter to see black women doing amazing things and black men empowered and not squashed on the floor like George Floyd. I don't want my child to see that. So for me, that it will be the only avenue for me.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Simone. Anyone else going to answer on that question? Lance, maybe you're going to give us a little breakdown.
Yeah. Look, with time immemorial, you can always make excuses. To be able to go, you will be looking at preparing yourselves in all sorts of different ways. It will cost money. The cheapest way that I've seen people do that is buy a van, load a van, and drive down there. When they arrive, they sell that van. But look, you must go. You even have got to go and at least visit it to understand what's going on in there. What is the alternative? The alternative is to remain in a system that is against you, remain in a system that will suppress you. Even within the COVID-19, there will always be an excuse. If it's not Ebola, it's AIDS. If it's not AIDS, it's a whole host of different things that's going on. Even within the COVID-19, you will still need to prepare if assistance is not given to you, right? And the assistance, reparations, is not there, which is why vast majorities of people that need to get into that idea and philosophy of freeing themselves. You must be free, right? The system that you are in is suffocation. It is killing you slowly. Is it La Miserable? Not Miserable. It's Mulattoes, the French Martinique freedom fighter. famous quote: live free or die. That's the two alternatives. If you want to remain in a system that is killing you slowly, then that's your choice, and a choice you have. To go, you must understand what's going on. Go in there. You will. If today you've got a whole host of things that you've got to do here. You know, you're attached to a lot of things that is in the country. It's not like we're not like nomads. You've got responsibilities. Now, to up and go is irresponsible. To prepare yourself and go is the better thing. You will always hear people saying, be careful, be careful, be careful, be careful, but they never tell you what to be careful of. You need to understand what's going on and prepare yourself to replace yourself into another system, because a system already exists. It already exists. So to me, that's me going.
Hi, Sister JL. Have we got any more questions from the public? I think Lance has dropped off.
Before having more question, I think I'm gonna reply to the one that that Brother Curtis asked us.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but it
Yes.
was related to COVID-19, isn't it? COVID-19 and going back to Africa, isn't it? Yeah. So, well, to me, I think that Africa is taking everybody and is gonna eat and welcome the ones, and is gonna spit the rest out. You know, that's what Africa does. Hence why we know about a lot of people who goes to Africa and after a year or two they come back to Europe because they can't make it. It's not gonna happen, and that's what it is. The other thing for me as well is that Africa is so big, Africa is so vast, and people speak of Africa like if you're going to Croydon, you know, that's that's a whole continent. It's a lot of countries. So which country are you talking about? Is it a good way to go now due to this lockdown and COVID-19? Is it something good to go to Africa? I think it's all about the calling. It's the calling. Do you feel the calling to go back home now? And if you are going back home, are you going to Zion with a Babylon mind, or did you leave the Babylon mind behind and you're actually going to Zion with a pure mind? Because if you go to Zion with a Babylon mind, trust me, you're not going to stay. And you're going to be losing a lot of the things that you care. And most of the people, when they go to Africa, they think about the financial. Hence why when they go there, that's what they have in mind. And they think they're going to go and make some money. And they come back 2 years later, poor, to Europe, you know. And they just wasted 2 years of their lives. Or they go with some wifey or husband, and then they just come back to Europe and the thing didn't work. So people need to be very mindful, and I always put everything back to the scriptures. I would not move because I'm in fear, because I know that the Most High is not putting the spirit of fear inside of me. If I have the spirit of fear, this is not coming from the Most High, so I don't need to move. I'm good. I'm gonna go as forefather Abraham did. In due time, I'm gonna go as forefather Moshe did in due time. I'm not gonna stress it out on me. But it's definitely a sign. We need to remember that things are biblical, and it's a sign. What we're seeing now, the collapse of the economy, COVID-19, the way that this Black Lives Matter LGBTQ is showing on us, because to me it's not about Black Lives Matter. I'm putting this out again. For me, it's about the system actually welcoming gay, lesbian, call them people who abuse of children, pedophile, and all them things legal. That's what they're trying to do right now, and they're also trying to involve this LGBTQ into politics. That's what they're really trying to do, because right now Black Lives Matter, who is started by a black lesbian woman who is married with a Jewish woman, by the way, they are trying to get into politics. So that's what they're trying to do. And to me, this is signs, biblical signs of end times, end time prophecy. And that's what it is. Am I going to go and rush to go back to Africa? No, sir. And I can't do so if I want to. But I know that there is no rush. The Most High will show me in due time. So that's my reply to your question, my dear brother.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. And really good answers to the question. I'm going to see if we can put this over to the viewers that are currently online and ask if you have any questions for the panel. If you have any questions that you feel you would like answered based on some of the stuff that has been discussed, please post your answers now and we will raise it with the panel. Okay, so yeah, we just wait to see what everyone's got to say. We got one here. So we've got a lot of statements here, but we're just looking for some questions related to some of the topic points which have been raised by Simone, Lance, and Jael.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's very interesting. I'm just browsing through the comments right now. I'm just gonna read a few of them.
Can we not see those comments?
Yeah,
No, I can't see them.
yeah, I can see them right now, Brother Lance. So I'm gonna read some of them from the latest. So we have.
Can you share the screen by any chance, JL?
No, it's not working. Sorry, it's not working on live.
Okay.
I'm going to send you the link to the questions, and then you'll be able to see them come up on your window. You can just raise them on your side window.
So so we had some comments from Mama Levi, blessed love. Thank you for that. I am just waiting for the screen to come back right now. So we had some comments here. What's your views on how we can achieve unification worldwide? I'm very happy to reply to this if you both agree. To me, my view to unify worldwide is through the scriptures, and it's through our own heritage. It's through understanding the biblical patriarchal system that we have, which is holy, which is correct, which is righteous. Because everywhere if you go in Africa, this is what it is. It's still very patriarchal way of living. And that's what it is. As much as we speak about politics in Africa, this is happening in the big city. It's not happening in the villages. So to me, to unify is to understand or overstand. To me, to unify is to overstand the blessings coming from the Bible and to understand who we are. Because once you know who you are able to empower your people. Mama Levi did a comment earlier. The white man came to Africa with a white Jesus. This is wrong. From this moment, when they start showing that your own savior is white, you're gonna start feeling down because they are lying to you. So the only way to unify is to actually understand, overstand, and understand, and be able to share this information with your people, that the Bible is for us, and what is written on there, the chosen people, is us. Hence why all the richest things in the world are there in Zion, are there in Africa. That's what it is, and that's my way of bringing unity to our people.
I think that unity is there, as we can see, right across the world. The universal language that we've already spoken through a domino effect tells you that there is unity. They need someone to lead it. It's a question of, no matter where you are in the world, identifying with that unity that you have, mostly because of the color of your skin. You understand another black person's plight, whereas other people don't. There is a unity, an unspoken unity to a large degree, of the nod, the look, you know, that we get from each other, even if you do not know that individual, just from the color of their skin. There is a unity that there is. There's definitely, how do we galvanize that unity? Because we understand the oppressions, we understand the individual aspects of the intricate details that happens to us. So we all identify with those things. Is how do we galvanize them? There is a unity, is what I'm trying to say.
On the topic of unity, I do think we have unity at some level, but not enough for me. I don't think there's enough people awoke in Africa. I don't think there's enough people awoke around the world globally. I think when you find many awoke brothers and sisters, for me, I can also talk about the 12 tribes, so Rastafarianism, or being from the Caribbean, where you have people who are awoken. You can have that discussion and that discourse, but it's not something that I found in my travels. I'm well travelled. I haven't found that universally, I'm afraid. So I think that until everybody starts to educate themselves on the truth about their history, where we come from, who we are, understand the empowerment of our, writing of books, Timbuktu, etc., until everybody is awoken and understands the power of where we come from and knows who they are for themselves, they're not going to unite. Because there's a lot of people who I'll be having the conversation with about, either repatriation or reparations or whatever, returning or not returning or staying here, and the George Floyd situations of the world. Prior to George Floyd, we've got Stephen Lawrence, the list goes on. So we talk about things like that, or the 13 in New Cross Gate or what have you. And the same thing, they tend to be listening to the system. They'll be saying, oh, well, in the UK, it's better. I've heard many a Caribbean person say the UK is the best place in the world. The best place in the world. So there we go. They're coming from countries, that's people who are born and bred in West Indian countries, who will come here and say that it's the best place in the world. They're talking about the humanitarian aspect, but, which, I do think that the UK does have in some ways, it has a great humanitarian aspect. But as I said, until we as people are all educated on the fallacies that we've been fed for all these hundreds of years, and go back and read Marcus Garvey's work and look into the Bible about understand our Hebraic lineage, understand what God's original intent for us as a people were. I'm not holding my breath. That's where I stand on unity.
Okay, brilliant. Simone, thank you for that. Guys, we've got a couple of questions here. I'm going to roll these questions out. We've got one for Lance. The question is from Here I Am, Ready or Not. If you had a load of reparation money, what would you do with it? And that's to Lance.
Yeah, okay. So if you've got a bag of money, right, depending how big the bag is, what would you do with it? I would make sure that the bag is big enough to create a place that we can start from scratch. Infrastructure, systems in place, enough to create a structure for us all to be able to create a society for ourselves. Because that's really what the problem is that we're in a system that is against us, doesn't allow us to grow, doesn't allow us to come to our full potential. If you had a bag of money, you would create something from scratch, like a Las Vegas or something like a Dubai, in the middle of the desert even.
Sorry, JL, can you turn your mic off for a minute, please?
In the middle of the desert, with technology that we have, is capable. How big is the bag of money is what you've got to ask yourself.
Okay, brilliant. I'm going to go to the next question, which is a question for Jael. And would you join forces with already established repatriation movements in the USA? That's to Jael.
Well, to be honest, in a way, I kind of did. Shout out to the Bamboo Roots Collective, who started in America and they are now based in Ghana. Why did we join them? We joined them because the brother who started it is a brother who is biblically based, and that's the most important for me. Who is my mother and who is my brethren? My mother is and my brethren are the one who do the will of my Father. That's the most important. So will I join with people around the world? I understand that my people are scattered in the fourth corner of the earth. So be it America, India, Europe, Africa, yes, I will join forces with them. But we need to remember the goal, the end goal. Because to me, it's all about understanding the values and the morals and the principality of our movement. If you go Black Lives Matter, the way that you are moving is different to the way that I am moving. We don't support the same thing. So at some point, we're not going to be able to continue and build together. So I would rather go and build with the people who are the same way as me than to go and build with some people who have things which are totally different than me. So will I go and join with somebody from America? Yes, I would. Jael, then you asking me another question, here I am ready or not. Jael, then explain how this could help. The whole question doesn't really make sense to me because, as a lot of them people are saying, it's only one boat stop, We are the same people. We are the same people. We shouldn't be judgmental on who is who. We need to remember that we are the children of Israel. We are the chosen people. How is this going to help? Because we are joining forces. By going to Africa, by going to my village, I've learned that what my brothers and sisters back home can teach me about husbandries, about growing food and looking after the field and raising children, or even the way of a household, is very beneficial to my wealth, my spiritual wealth even. What I can teach them is what I have learned here at school. I have a better understanding of history. I have a better understanding of economics. And we are joining forces this way. Now somebody who grew up in America will come and will be bringing something else. Hence why we all need to go and join forces together. This requires a lot of humbleness. We all need to humble and to realize that we have to help each other. So this is the way that is going to help to me.
Brilliant. Is there anyone else who could add to that question, which was raised by Ready or Not, Here I Am? And it's to do with joining forces with other members of the diaspora from America, maybe from Haiti, Jamaica, wherever it may be. Why would it benefit us to do that, and how would we be able to do that?
Okay, so I can...
Yeah, well, yeah, to a large degree, we've already been able to do that. We've taken a large lead from America. What we really need to hear is from the UK, because the UK has got quite a lot of the covert operations to be dealt with. You see a lot of the overt operations happening in America of what a perpetrator would do, and how they are tackling and approaching those methods. Of course, it is good to join those forces, but you haven't heard anything from the UK, and a lot of what has happened in America stems from the UK. Joining them, most certainly, of course, you would do. To a degree that it will help all of us, not just America, but also every other country that is affected with Black people. They are suffering just like everybody else. So to join with them, unity is strength. And it can only further your cause if you join. Not only just America, but with France, with Germany, with all of those other different countries that has large populations and sections of Black communities.
And yeah, just to add on that, for me, very simply, Wakanda forever. I'm an idealist, and I just, yeah, I'm Wakanda forever. So yeah, I believe we can have that. I believe that we can have Wakanda exists for me. I've seen it. So you need to go to Africa and see how amazing it is. And yes, it's really important, as everyone said, to join with anyone who is of that mindset of the Wakandan, that we, you know, who understands the power that we have in our minerals and our people in joining each other. As you saw even in that film, I know it's all Disney, but there were different fractions and different isms and schisms internally, but ultimately they united against the common evil, you know? So that to me is a really good representation of Africa. I do think as we unite, we might come across some issues, but I think you'll find most people who are on this journey of repatriation, no matter where they come from, are unified in wanting the best for one another, for their brother, their sister. You know, biblically, they're looking at biblical principles of listening to elders and listening to how we can unify ourselves by going backwards into what originally was planned for us as people, what the Bible said originally, what God planned for us originally. So I do think we can have it. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. Okay, we did have Pharaoh back then. We've got Pharaohs now. So, but definitely unity, no matter where it's from. If you're on my page, I'm here. You know, you're my brother, my sister. I'll help you any way I can. And that's what I found on this journey, which has been such a blessing. Is as soon as I opened the door and reached my hand, you know, said, "Oh, I need some help." So many people have come forward and blessed me, like Bamboo Roots or Out of Babylon Collective. There's so many people with similar mindsets who are willing to help you on your journey. Also in Ghana, for example, or Gambia, if you reach out and say, right, I want to go there, you'll find, you know, so many people wanting to help you to repatriate positively, to support you not to drop through the pitfalls and all of that. There's so many people willing to help. So it's such a beautiful thing. So many beautiful African people willing to help. So yeah, unity is there and you can have it.
I think the listener who listens in has to ask themselves a question. If it's something that they desire to go, to repatriate, to join a system that is more beneficial to them, the first question they have to ask themselves is where. Someone said earlier on, Africa is such a large continent, you couldn't drive around it in one day. You'd take just like 14 hours to go from New York to Florida. It would take you that and that again to be able to go from north to south. So you've got to ask yourself, where would you go? What would you do? Is there anyone there? Or will it be people that I'm bringing with me that we are now starting this whole new thing altogether? If not, what are you joining? What are you joining? Are there things in place that will allow you to grow or hinder you? This is a place that you will want to flourish. You know, that's what the listeners got to ask themselves. You know, what's the place that is calling me? Do you know anywhere? Are you unique in trying to build something completely different from scratch, from no one being there? You know, yet you will still be in someone else's country. Where is that? That's what you've got to ask yourself. Yeah, you know, you can create all sorts of different things. Communities that is eco-friendly. I know a friend of mine, he was doing green farming, no pesticides, no, just natural, and focused on a plot of land in Benin. He's still going into a system that he has to, and what is that? Is it against you? Is it oppressive? Does it prevent you from developing you as an individual? Or is there another glass ceiling? That's what the listeners got to ask themselves. When I join forces with someone, will it allow me to grow and be as advanced as where we left off? Will I be able to achieve a pyramid that no one even still to this day, engineers marvel at and cannot comprehend how people of that time can build structures and design like that, and if you reunite them, will they be able to advance it even more? Sky's the limit. That's what the listeners got to ask themselves. Those types of questions. Are they happy where they are? If not, will I be happy with the people that I join with? And we have our own issues, but we can sort our own issues. It will be one less issue if we can do and unite for ourselves. That's for me. That's just how it is.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Lance and Simone and Jael. We've got another question which is coming. I think we're going to have this as the last question moving forward, so we can close on this discussion, and we will be ready for the next discussion, which will be happening in a fortnight from now. So the last question that we've got here is from Black Cat 7, and the question is, who helped enslave, capture the African? Shouldn't they be held accountable too? Shouldn't they be included in the repatriation discussions? So it's who helped enslave, capture the African? Shouldn't they be held accountable too? And shouldn't they be included in the reparation discussions? And that's a question to all the panel.
Yes, Can I get on it, please, brother and sister? So first of all, big up Rowena. I can see you, my sister. Black Cat 7. So to start with, I would go. I don't know what time you joined the live tonight, but you need to remember that a lot of us are not asking for no reparation from the white man or nobody who enslaved us at all. And then if you agree, I don't know if you're a brother or a sister, but I will recommend you a few books to read, such as From Babylon to Timbuktu. And if you read that, you can follow it with the two Babylons. This is going to give you a little bit of history about who actually were the black people who enslaved the Israelite people, the slave that you will call, who went to the Americas and who went to the Caribbean. You need to remember that not every black people are our black people. Not everybody who is actually doing or who is in America right now are our people. That's what you need to remember. Then the question is for me, it's a question which doesn't really make sense, because how are you going to go and say who is who? How will you manage to go and say who enslaved us and who didn't? Do you really feel that the people will come to you and say, you know what, I did enslave your forefather, here you go, take some diamonds, or here you go, take some bit of my land? This doesn't work like that. So we need to be realistic here, and we need to stop once more. As I said at the beginning, stop asking for somebody to give you something that already belongs to you. That's what you need to stop doing. Be it the white man, be it a black person who enslaved you, which is most probably not somebody from your own nation, is probably some Hamite and not probably some Shemite. So stop expecting from these people to give you something. Stop asking. You need to stop asking, Because we've been asking for more than 400 years now. You ask for your freedom, you ask for the right to vote, you ask for this and you ask for that, and nothing is granted to you. But what you do, you go out and walk to go and ask. Stop asking. Would it be a white person, a black person? Why is this even still going to your mind? It doesn't make sense to me. To me, that's my reply. So again, go please and read From Babylon to Timbuktu to understand who were the black people in Africa, and keep it going with the two Babylons, and then perhaps you're gonna get a little bit of knowledge, and then we can take it from there on the next discussion, please. So thank you for your comment, Black Cat 7, and
Okay.
let us know.
Okay, so to Black Cat 7, look, I kind of like dealt with some of this in the body of assessment. Okay, so to be honest with you, I don't really look in the direction of who in Africa was involved. I look in terms of what damage has been caused, who caused that damage, and what the repairs should be. If some of the chiefs, kings were involved, then that will come out in the assessment before we start repairing those differences. What I'm hearing a lot of the times is a reaction to guilt, when the suggestion of European people, your ancestors enslaved African people, abused, misused, distrust, and broke them to the point where we are now in so much pain that we're having to call all of our people together to march forward and get out of the system that exists. In the assessment, you will find to what proportion someone else is to blame. But right now, who is to blame is the scramble for Africa. The European countries gone and did what they did. Admit to it is what we're saying, so that we can move on and repair. Anyone else that is in that assessment will be dealt with in accordance, just like truth and reconciliation. That's what I would say.
Thank you, Brother Lance. I just want to reply again to Black Cat 7, who just said, Ghana has not apologized, hence the year of return. My dear brother, Ghana border was created not a long time ago. So if you call Ghana, Ghana, which people are you talking to? Are you talking about the Akan people? Are you talking about the Igbo? Are you talking about the Malinke? Which kind of ethnic are you talking to? Now, if you want to go further, which kind of tribe are you talking to? Are you talking about Israel? Are you talking about the Hamite? Who are you talking about? Because I'm reading the comment here, but you need to remember that if you still go by Ghana has not apologized, who in Ghana? What does that mean, Ghana? Because Ghana was a country who was created. That's how they created the border here. Are you talking about the Empire of Ghana? Because now if you speak about the Empire of Ghana, this also involves Benin, which is the neighborhood country. It involves Ivory Coast, which is the neighborhood country. It involves Mali, which is the neighborhood country. If you're talking about the Empire of Ghana, at which time? Which historical time? Because the Empire of Ghana and the Malinke Empire were also fighting. So which people of Ghana are you talking to? That's what I want to know. Because you can't, we're not talking about them white people borders right here. My country, Ivory Coast, has a border which looks like a triangle, you know. That's not godly made. That's white man made. It's not made by the Most High. So if you're talking about Ghana, Ibor, I'm trying to read your comment here. Yes, Mama Levi, I agree with that. The destruction of the black civilization, that's something else, definitely. Ghana has apologized. Okay, you're going somewhere totally different here. Ghana has apologized as a country, which is not tribalistic at all. So now we need to review that, and perhaps, as you said that you already have them books that we've been recommended you, it might be very interesting for you to go back to them, because the country that you said that apologized, which is related to politics, is the country of Ghana. It's not the Ghana Empire. It is not the Ghana Empire, so it doesn't make sense. It does not make sense at all.
What we're looking at, just to get some dates in here, is a period between 1600s and 1800s, right? The Empire of Ghana existed where Senegal is right now, where Nigeria rode right across where Ghana is right now. We're not talking about that period of time. We're talking about 1600s to 1800s. In that period of time, Ghana existed as it was, as the Gold Coast. It had the wealth that it did and had it taken away. Now, you have to be careful when you start injecting other people's apology. An apology in what sense? And that's what we really need, because apology, at the end of it, is an admission to guilt. That's why the apology that we need from the UK and America is so important. It's an admission. It's a healing process. Now, we're not looking at semantics in terms of with the geographical location. We're looking at a period of time, right, where people were taken. Don't forget, the initial people that came into Ghana were the Portuguese, right? They came in there not to take slaves out. It was deals that they done. The king had his workers and requested that they followed them to Europe, to Portugal, to do business and return with commodities. In the initial stages, they did. When they realized where the wealth was coming from, they raided that place. They may have used mulattoes to do some of those bargaining, but realistically, it's the assessment. It's necessary. We need it. We need to understand that this thing is going to be fixed because someone has admitted to, and we can move on. We can get back, or we can regain what we have lost for the people that we are.
Yes, indeed. And we need to, my dear brother Black 7, I think your name is Blackout 7. Yeah, Black Cat 7. We need to stop focusing on reparation, financial reparation from somebody. It doesn't mean a lot. And then you need to be very mindful, as Brother Lance stated right now. You need to be very mindful of what you call Ghana, because a lot of Africa was called Ghana back in the day. Who really apologized, and what did they apologize for?
Yeah, I just want to come and say, Black Cat, thank you though for your comments. It's bringing to light what a lot of people are querying. However, the question is so much bigger than an apology from those who enslaved us in Africa or not. I mean, that's an impossible feat to understand. It was so intrinsic. Arabs were enslaving Black people prior to the infiltration of European countries, etc., etc. I mean, the list goes on. So it's quite a difficult topic to navigate on that aspect. So it would be a waste of time. It's better to move forward and see as a community what we would want, ideally, and to make those decisions as a community and impress that's the movement we want to make. As Jael said, there are things like sustainable living, giving back to our communities. We're here in the West. Bring back to those communities, build back at home, wherever that home may be for you. Home might be the Caribbean, it might be Africa, whatever Black nation it is. But I do think it's really important to acknowledge that, whatever has happened, it's time to change. It's no point going banging on about what happened to us then and where, why did you do this to us? And for me, it's just futile. I'm like, put a pin in it. Let's move forward, next. Because we could argue the point for another 400 years. I've noticed 400 years have gone of people arguing the point, and there's not much movement. So it's about us unifying and saying, okay, this happened. Now what do we want? let's move forward.
Okay, thank you very much. Really, really good, guys. Thank you for your input and your discussion points. And we just thank the listeners for all the comments that have been made in the chat. And we just want to thank you for your time coming to listening to this very hot topic right now. We as the Black Diaspora, we want to know what it is that we need to do next. We are on a journey, and I think the journey has not ended yet. There is still more to do. And if everybody puts their efforts in, I think there is much more that we can achieve as a people. So we want more of these platforms, more of these discussion points, so that we can start to understand as individuals how it is that we can move forward as a people. I just want to close out by asking any of the presenters to give a shout out if they have any businesses, or if there's anybody that they want to give a shout out for. Please use this time to give your shout out. And again, thank you for our listeners.
Yeah, I'm going to shout out Palm Trees Catering. Please, if you've got a wedding or anything, they do amazing catering and food and funeral, anything like that. Just thank you also to all the Black businesses, and thank you for every single person who is doing the Black Pound. I've been Black Pound shopping from today. So it's been brilliant though, being on lockdown. So thank you to the Croydon BME site that's put together a platform. I think it's actually a book that addresses all the shops in Croydon, because I struggled actually when it was Black Pound Day. I was like, oh my gosh. And we were locked down and I couldn't think of one shop to go to, like for a supermarket. So I know where to go for meat or for hair produce, but what about beans or whatever it was that Naima wanted that day, crisps and stuff like that. But there is a new Black supermarket opened in Fulton Heath, so I just want to give them a shout out and thank you for just being there for me during lockdown. Thank you.
Yes, I think this is Pempassy, isn't it, in Tottenham Heath? Yeah, it's Pempassy. It's the same shop that was in Brixton.
No, it's not Pempansy actually. It's it's a brand new
M&M's.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh,
M&M's.
yeah, that's the one.
JL.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, big up. I hope it's gonna work properly. That's good. So yeah, my little shout out to everyone. I could see my sister Rowena. So she has one of the best cake business in London, in the whole world. So go and check it out. Maurice James. So that's her business. I want to give a shout out to everyone who listened to us tonight. Obviously to Out of Babylon, to Bamboo Roots Collective. I want to keep welcoming all the people who come to my business as well, jailmarket.com, to keep doing my business things as well. So I'm very thankful to you all, and remember that it all starts from home and from your way of thinking. Remember, just do the effort, go and buy black, empower the people. It all starts with the economy. We must be able to empower each other. Even if it's to spend one more pound for your people, go and buy from your people. Always do this. Empower your people, help your people all the time. So big up Maurice James, big up my business, jailsmarket.com. Let's keep it moving for Bamboo Roots Collective, Out of Babylon. And I think that's all I have to say for today.
It's always a difficult one. But as we're all on that promoting businesses and such alike, I can go for Jam and Jerk, a mobile catering unit. It provides, as it states, music and food. Jam and Jerk with the N for the eubonics. Jam and Jerk. You can find them by emailing to jamandjerk@aol.com, jamandjerk@gmail.com, for all your mobile catering needs. Bar mitzvahs, funerals, birthdays, weddings. It will be from barbecue in your back garden to silver service. It's a black-run business that's music and food that we always need for every different occasion. Jam and jerk. There you go.
And I forgot to say as well, if you want to keep in contact with us, Out of Babylon Collective, just drop us a message on our YouTube channel, or you can also email us as at joseph.yisrael144k@gmail.com. And if you want to hear about what we're doing back home, be it in West Africa and East Africa, just drop us an email, join us. We are moving, we are doing things forward ever, backward never. So just remember that, get in touch with us. That's all I have to say.
I just
So
want to
big
say also, please subscribe to our Facebook page as well, Jael.
Yes,
We've got that. Please subscribe,
Yes.
click subscribe.
Yeah, click
Please
subscribe,
like and subscribe.
share, subscribe.
Please share. So we're on Facebook as Out of Babylon Collective. There's loads of good stuff on there already. Thanks everyone who's already subscribed and joined Facebook, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yes,
I
the
hope you've
YouTube
enjoyed
channel,
today.
and we also have the Instagram out.of.babylon. Yeah, just keep in touch with us, guys. If you enjoy this talk.
Okay, thank you very much, guys. And we just want to give a big shout and big thanks to the panel today. Lance, Simone, and Jael. Wonderful stuff. Keep up the good work. And we look forward to seeing you next time on Out of Babylon. Until next time, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
you, guys.
Yes,
Really good to see you.
Nice one.
Thank you, YouTubers. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for all your questions, everyone. Take care. See you soon.
Okay, shalom.
Shalom.
Stay blessed.
I need to wait.